think you did the intro last time, so I can do it this time.
Sounds
I don't know if I'm feeling the energy to do like the over the top intro.
No worries.
All right. Hello and welcome back to the LT Gang or Die podcast. I'm your host, Elijah.
And I'm Cameron.
And this is episode 3 now. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, so I'm sorry to everyone who's been craving more episodes, but we're back now. And we're back with a movie that's not a Lifetime movie, but is a movie nonetheless. So it's not as thematic as maybe we'd like, but I think it is a good movie to talk about. And that movie is Yes, God, Yes. So I think I'll just give a very brief plot overview. There's this girl. She goes to Catholic high school, and she and her friend are convinced to go on a retreat. And basically she's super horny. Like she's battling this idea that like her religion kind of shoves down her throat of like it's really bad to act on those impulses, and there's like a bunch of other shit going on, and basically she kind of breaks and runs away from the retreat, meets someone at a bar, and kind of talks things out, decides to go back, and yeah, she retreat ends, she goes back to school, but she ends up basically realizing that everybody has something that they're doing wrong. Like nobody's as perfect as they pretend to be. So, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, that was a great overview of the plot. I think the movie overall was not as great as I would have liked it to be.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Comparing this to the first two movies we've reviewed, I definitely think this is better. And I think I think the writer's intent is better understood and better portrayed. But it's almost done in a way that makes it comical, if that makes sense. Like it's very much hand-fed to you, I think, in a lot of the different scenes. Like, for example, like in one of the opening scenes, they're in what they call morality class. And I don't know if you ever had.
That is a class. Yeah. They really nailed the
Really?
Catholic school. Yeah, like the tropes. And
yeah, that's something I was going to bring up as well. It seems like they really wanted to paint that picture of traditional Catholic school. Now I never went, but it seems like they did a good job with that. So they're in morality class, and like the teacher that they call Father, I'm assuming that's how it's like in all Catholic school.
Well, he's a priest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Priest.
That's why they call him Father.
Okay, gotcha. Like they're talking about sex and why God created it, and like what the purpose of it is, and like as he's having the students answer, at the very end he's like, remember that God is always watching, and like he does it in the most obvious tone or ominous tone. And so it's like they're really making it known that like this is what they think of the Catholic religion, and like that it's almost like a criticism of the church, I think. Where it's like the the church thinks this way, and if you go against what the church thinks, then you're sinning and gonna go to hell, eternal damnation. And it's like, that's, I mean, everyone sins, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because something I was going to talk about later, but I'll probably just bring up now is so I finished watching the movie and I went and checked Rotten Tomatoes because I like to, look and see what other people thought of it. And the Rotten Tomatoes critic score was 94%, but the audience score was only 67%. So I knew immediately like what the bad scores were going to be. So I went and I like checked the audience scores and just read through some of the like 1-star reviews, and it was just all these offended Catholics being like, "Oh, just more Hollywood propaganda, like shitting on the Catholic Church." And somebody said like, "This isn't at all what it's like going to like this isn't at all what it's like going to Catholic school or something like that." But I thought it was really accurate for the most part. Like it was kind of dramatized a little bit or a little it was a little over the top for sure with some of the things. Like it's still like that, but it's not quite to that extent. For example, like what you're talking about in the classroom when we never had like any kind of like sexuality or like health class in high school like that, where he's talking about how, oh, women uh, are like a standard oven and men are like a microwave oven. Like it takes longer for women to heat up or something like that. We never had any conversations like that about like sex or sexuality or like those kind of desires or whatever. Like that was always just kind of like hush hush in some ways. Whereas like a public school, you'd be taught about this is if you're going to do it, that you need to be like safe and stuff like that. I think that's kind of one of the problems with Catholic school is they try to get you not to do it rather than making sure that if you are doing it, you do it safe. And there was like a couple of girls that got pregnant before we left high school. Like I'm sure if it would have been more emphasized, it wouldn't have been like that. But the Rotten Tomato reviews were like very negative because it was these Catholics whose feelings were hurt because in some ways they were making fun of um, Catholicism or religion or whatever. But I didn't really feel that way. I thought that it was more about a specific situation and less about criticizing Catholicism. It still was kind of a critique, but I think the point was more um, you can't put so much pressure on yourself if you're doing things that your religion tells you are wrong because everyone is hiding something. Everyone has something that they're doing wrong. Um, but yeah, in general, I thought like, oh, another thing that's kind of over the top was how that teacher's walking down the hallway and handing out like detentions or whatever it is for uniform violations. Like there were definitely teachers that would hand out detentions for, your skirt being too high above your knee. But it wasn't like that where she was just handing them out left and right, walking down the hallway. And it was more like, hey, tuck in your shirt. Hey, your
Yeah.
skirt's too high.
Yeah. So did you enjoy the movie then, or?
Yeah, I would say I enjoyed it because I thought they nailed a lot of things and I could definitely kind of relate to what was the main character's name? Alice.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely kind of relate to that feeling of like just feeling so guilty all the time because you know you're going to school and church and that's like all because you're there 8 hours a day and then you're there on Sundays. Like it's just always being fed to you. And I still think there's a lot of good things about the Catholic church and the things they teach you, but there are a lot of bad things about it too. And I think its biggest flaw is a lot of the time they were telling you not to be bad rather than telling you to be good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Are you still like pretty religious or?
Hmm. I still like pray on my own, but I don't go to church, and I still believe in God, but I don't participate in like the community, I guess, and like going to church and stuff like that. And that's also kind of a result of that story I told you about that church at ASU,
Mm-hmm.
where I had kind of a negative experience. So I've definitely been pushed away from religion, but I still would consider myself to have a relationship with the God I believe in. Um, and it was kind of for the same reasons that Alice was having so many problems, was because in my head I was like, why? And I don't know if this is really fair because there are a lot of good priests out there and stuff, but and there are a lot of good Catholics, but um, for me it's kind of like, why should I be going and making myself go to church and participate with all these people who, like, they're all hypocrites in some way or another, because they put on this facade of being good and righteous, but there's plenty of people I know at church who've like cheated on their wives and like done horrible things, and there's a lot of priests that do really terrible things. And uh, the Catholic Church, or the Archdiocese here in Albuquerque, the Archdiocese of Santa Fe, went bankrupt because they declared bankruptcy so they didn't have to like pay off all of these lawsuits that were brought against priests for like touching altar boys or whatever. So I definitely related to this movie, to say the least.
Yeah, and that hypocrisy in the Catholic Church is something that the producers like really make known
Yeah.
throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And because I mean, we have the priest who who during the retreat watches porn
Yep.
and touches himself. um, and then we also, I think they also show it through just the various like side characters, like some of the retreat leaders,
Mm-hmm.
like not practicing what they preach.
Yeah.
We have her, I think her name's Nina. She's giving one of the other retreat leaders some pine top, and and Alice witnesses that, and she's kind of taken aback.
Yeah. I thought I thought it was kind of poignant how they showed, I guess, because like that Nina girl get like rats on Alice because she didn't give her phone at the beginning of the retreat, and everybody sees her as this like shining example of like, I don't know, like a good Christian, but in reality she's you know giving that dude top and in the woods, like right by the kitchen too.
Yeah.
Not the smartest place to be doing that.
Well, maybe do you think they wanted someone to see?
Why would they want someone to see? What would their goal be?
I don't know. Just something to think about.
I guess so. So, specific to the retreat, there were like, when I was in high school, we had like, there was a required retreat senior year that was almost exactly like that. Um, it wasn't like, there were retreats where if kids wanted to go, they could, but that was usually the kids who like actually really were super into religion and pretty much practiced what they were taught, like the kids that went on the optional retreats. I don't think I would catch any of them, doing something bad. But when our senior retreats were required, and I was one of the group leaders.
No way.
Yeah. And it was almost just like that. You know how Nina goes up and gives this tells this story about how her parents like don't pay her any attention because she's not as good as her sister. So they would have the group leads go up and tell like a moving story about how, you know, maybe they'd been sexually assaulted or like their dad left when they were little or something like that. So that was pretty accurate. All of that's done like super late at night though. They kind of, I think they do it on purpose. They try to get you at a time when you're more likely to be like super emotional and kind of vulnerable, and they don't let you sleep very much. Like we would go to bed like early in the morning at like 2 a.m. and then they'd make us get up at like 7. So nobody, like everybody's running on very little sleep. And some of the things they kind of got wrong though, or at least it wasn't like my retreat, was our parents did send us in letters like that, but they didn't just read it out in front of everybody. Everybody just got it and then sat by themselves and read whatever their parents had written them. And yeah, there was a lot of crying at that retreat for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there's when they get sorted into groups, and later on they all sit together, and the group lead, I forget what his name is, the football player. He's like,
Chris.
yeah, Chris. He's like, okay, now you guys, like all the group leads went up there and told our stories. Now it's your turn to tell your stories. And Alice makes up that story about how her dog got poisoned. um, that was pretty accurate.
You,
But yeah, none of
you
that's done during the day. Usually it's like super late at night.
you think that's pretty standard across other retreats, or do you think
Well,
that was
it
unique?
must be if they're if they're showing stuff in the movie that like was almost exactly what went on at the retreat that I went on, like I would assume that it's pretty standardized across like other retreats.
And I actually looked up uh, Kirkus, which is the name of the retreat.
Yeah, is it a
And
real retreat?
yeah, so it's based off of something called Kairos, which is
Oh, okay.
a high school retreat in Maine.
Interesting. Hmm.
So I'm wondering if this is a retreat that either the writers or producers went on as a
That could
high
be.
schooler.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw in one of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, they were like, they thought it was really funny that they were making fun of a real retreat. So I'm guessing the person that wrote that review must have gone on one.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Chris's character?
I thought he was a good side character. I liked his energy, you know, really handsome, tall, buff dude. And yeah, I mean, you definitely meet people like that who are just super, you know, hyped up on like their Christianity and their beliefs. He was funny though. I liked how he reacted at the end when, so for those who haven't watched this movie, there's this scene where Alice and Chris are alone, and she's kind of been uh, um, manipulating him into like helping her, like getting close with her. Like she pretends to fall and hurt her ankle, and he ends up carrying her back to the nurse. So eventually they end up alone in the woods because she's all upset with everything that's going on. Oh, we're missing. We've kind of skipped over a key detail, but anyway, they get alone and she makes a move on him and they start kissing like briefly. He stands up. He stands up and he's hard as a rock and he's like, I get turned on like a microwave or something like that. He like slaps his boner down and runs away. So they don't
Yeah,
talk after that until she sees him in the hallway at school, and he like makes a real quick left turn and tries to walk into a classroom, but it's locked.
Yeah, that was a really funny scene. And Alice ends up talking to him, and she's like, "Can we be friends?" He says yes, and she asks for a hug, and he said, "Side hug,
Side hug?
side hug." Like that just, I don't know. It's weird because I try to transport myself back to when I was a junior in high school
Hmm.
and like try to comprehend whether some of this stuff actually happened. And just like for me at public school, like I couldn't relate to this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Were there characters like that in Catholic school? Like,
like Chris.
yeah,
Um, I don't remember anybody that was like that over the top, but there were like lots of people that were kind of like that, where they were really energized by their, I guess, Christianity, and I don't really remember anybody that was like, really popular and like, sporty and good looking and all that. That was like that type of person to where they were, get scared when they got a boner or whatever. I mean, at my school, like everybody was, smoking weed or drinking or having sex. Like everybody was sinning in one way or another. And, it's a bunch of these rich Catholic kids who can, afford like, Coke and shit like that. Like they didn't mess around.
really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That's how
news
it
to
was. I
me.
don't know. That's why I was kind of surprised that there were people on Rotten Tomatoes being like, "Oh, that's not how it is at all." It's like that. No, that's almost exactly what I went through. It's like a lot of very sinful kids and a school that was always shoving it down our throats that God was watching us and we weren't supposed to do anything bad. Oh my God. The scene that hit the hardest for me though is when she walks into confession the first time, which is where you go and you like, it's a sacrament. You tell the priest how you sinned, and then he gives you penance and forgives you on behalf of God, basically. And she walks in there and like the atmosphere and like how uncomfortable she was, and the way she was like, I talked back to my parents. I didn't do my chores. Like, oh my God. That was exactly how confession was for me every time. Um, it was so uncomfortable, like sitting there and having to tell another human, like, especially because there were sins that I had to confess to that were worse than just talking back to my parents. Like, it was always so uncomfortable, and they nailed like like how uncomfortable it was, and the
Yeah,
penance he gives her and everything. Like that was exactly what I would get. It'd be like, okay, well, help your mom with chores for a week and do 10 Our Fathers and 10 Hail Marys. And then you'd feel like so good afterwards, like this big weight had been lifted off your shoulders.
yeah. When I'm not Catholic, so I don't know. When do you
Mhm.
start confessions? It's like pretty early
So
on, right? Middle school, after you go through catechism, right?
in third grade, you're at the age where you're eligible to go through, or you have to take classes and stuff to receive communion and confession. Communion being uh, you go up and you receive the body and the blood, which is the bread and the wine that they hand out, and then confession being that confessing your sins to the priest. So those were like the two big ones in third grade. There's a total of 7 sacraments. You get baptized when you're little, obviously. You get those two in third grade. When you get to high school, you have confirmation. There's a sacrament that only like priests and deacons and people like that can get. It's holy orders. Then the other two are marriage and anointing of the sick, which would be you're dying and a priest comes and blesses you before you pass away. But yeah, confession and communion were the two big ones in third grade. So you get those pretty early on.
Dang. Yeah, that's pretty early.
Mm-hmm. So something else we need to talk about is the whole reason she feels so like bad the whole time, and um I think why she feels better when she sees other people doing things wrong is the rumor that gets started about her and Wade. If you want to explain that.
Yeah, so Alice's friend has this party where Alice and Wade go to get refreshments or something, and they're alone. And so there's this rumor that starts that Alice tossed Wade's salad. Um, Now, I don't know about you, Eli, but I literally have never heard that term
I've
until this movie.
I've heard it, but admittedly, I didn't know what it meant. I have heard people say it before, and I don't know if I maybe looked it up on Urban Dictionary at some point, but uh, yeah, I was a little surprised to see, because they show you in the opening scene. There's like a definition that pops up, and it means that what does the biker woman tell her? It means you lick someone's butthole.
Yep, verbatim.
So yeah, a rumor starts that apparently she was like eating Wade's ass.
Yeah.
And it spreads through the school like wildfire.
Yeah, not only does it spread to all the students, the teachers find out as well.
Yeah.
And um, and the first main teacher that we meet, goes up to Alice and is like, uh, "Can you like hand out
The gifts. Can you
the
bring up the
gift?" Yeah,
gifts? Yeah.
and when she goes to do that, the teacher's like, "Yeah, never mind," because
Yeah.
she heard the
She
rumor that she
gets someone
tossed Wade
else to do
salad.
it. And then the priest tries to get her to confess to it at the
Yeah,
retreat.
yeah, she wouldn't confess. Um, we never find out truly whether or not she tossed Wade salad, but it can be inferred with
We're
confidence that she didn't.
Yeah, we're pretty sure she didn't. And
Yeah,
even Wade admits that nothing happened between them, and she's like, "Well, why aren't you telling people that nothing happened? Like he doesn't do anything to stop the rumors." So everybody has this negative view of her, and including like the priests and the teachers, which is why she feels so much better like when she catches the priest. And then she gets the priest back because she goes to confession again towards the end of the movie. And she confesses to watching porn, and she describes the porn that he was watching. And he's just like sitting there like, "Oh." He's like, "That's between you and God." Gives her a penance. You can just tell that he knows he got caught.
yeah, yeah. Going back to Wade, what are your thoughts on Wade?
He's kind of an asshole. Do you think he threw away Heather's bracelet on purpose?
Yeah, I don't.
I wasn't
I was
sure
I
if
was
like
wondering
that was
what
supposed to be
that
an
was all
accident
about.
or
Yeah, so what happened was Wade was dating this girl Heather when the rumor came out, and they gave each other promise bracelets. And at the retreat, Wade was going to dump his food out, and on his plate was Heather's promise bracelet.
mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, I don't know why he would. I mean, it would have to be intentional, right? Like they were going through some problems, I think, because of the rumor, and
Yeah.
like you
Uh,
don't just accidentally
yeah,
keep
you'd
your
have to
bracelet
like
like
take it
that.
off, I would think.
Yeah,
So it definitely did seem like he was throwing it away. But yeah, he's like, you know, him and Heather don't even kiss because she like wants to wait till marriage, or she's afraid it'll lead to sex and all
yeah,
that. Like, so what this ends up leading to is Alice frames Wade. Alice gets on the priest's computer and is messaging someone on AOL to try to figure out what tossing your salad means. And like that's kind of a theme because earlier on she hops on AOL to play like some game and somebody messages her and is like asking to like have cyber sex or whatever. And uh that guy's username is like Harry Chest 123 or something like that. I thought that was funny. But anyway, so she messages someone on the priest's computer and then goes back and puts the bracelet, Wade's bracelet, under his keyboard. The priest finds it and blames Wade for what happened. But the messages that Alice was sending was as if it was a guy talking to a girl. So then a rumor starts that Wade is gay. I thought that was hilarious. And Wade kind of had it coming, so.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Wade was just absolutely baller. Like
Yeah?
from the very beginning. Yeah. In morality class, he answered the father's questions immediately.
Oh, that was Wade that was answering those?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he gave everyone this look like he just knew he was hot shit. Because I mean he's a star shot put thrower.
Right, yeah.
And I mean this guy's a unit. Like it's probably 6'2", 120 pounds. Like when you think of a shot put thrower, you think of Wade.
Yeah, I think he got his weight right, but I don't know about that 6'2" mark.
Oh, you don't think?
No, I think that kid was like 5'9" on a good day.
You're telling
Yeah,
me me and Wade are the same height.
probably. And you definitely weigh more than him because he was not built at all. Yeah, I love that they made him a shot putter. That kind of went over my head. It was like usually you think of a shot putter as being, 250 pounds and
I was gonna say, aren't they massive?
yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can't imagine Wade can throw a heavy ball very far, but
Yeah, I love when Wade throws the bracelet away and talking to Alice about the rumor. Father comes along and is like, "So, how's your shot put arm feeling?"
yeah, and he's like, "Oh, it's the off season, just been lifting weights and
He just completely disregards Alice too.
mhm,
It's like
yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by they try to make things like almost too in your face with like how hypocritical people are and like you don't have to try to figure anything out. Like it's not subtle at all. It's like this priest is a bad person. This teacher is a bad person. Nina's a bad person. Like Wade is a
Yeah.
bad person.
Also, when Alice goes to the bar, when she leaves the retreat and goes to the bar,
Hmm.
and she's talking to the biker, and like the biker goes to take her back to the retreat, she says, have you thought about where you're gonna go to school? And Alice is just like, yeah, probably in state.
Hmm.
And the biker is like, well, you should think about schools on the east and west coasts. It's like,
So are they in
what?
Kansas or something? Is that like
No,
you go
they're in
either?
Maine.
Well,
Yeah, which is on the east coast.
yeah, you're not going to be going very far if you just go down to like New Hampshire or something.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that was funny how she just kind of randomly brought it up. And then the movie ends with Alice looking up
Yeah,
colleges on the East and West Coast. And she's also finding like creative ways to like touch herself whenever she's, feeling, getting those impulses. Because that's what kind of annoys me about it is that's natural for everyone, especially like after you go through puberty or whatever. Like you
yeah,
start feeling that way and it's absolutely natural. Like that's how humans are. And, I can't imagine God would have a problem with you acting on your natural impulses. And then the Catholics make up this story of Adam and Eve, which is not supposed to be taken as a real story, like it's a metaphor. And they use that original sin as an excuse for why you're supposed to ignore those impulses you have is because like that's just the devil tempting you or whatever. It's like, no, like we're humans, we evolved, and that's, the that like drive to reproduce or whatever, like it's a natural thing. And I can see how that could maybe be immoral or whatever, but I think it's kind of wrong to, you know, force these young impressionable people to go against just how they are as a person naturally.
Yeah, they're all just trying to bust a nut. To
Except
put it
Chris. Except Chris.
except
Chris was like, hell no. He booked up out of there as soon as he got hard.
my boy got more torque than a screwdriver. Dude,
Uh,
that I bet Chris was hairy chest 1, 2, 3. Because did you see
he
those
could have
arms?
been. Yeah,
Did you see those arms?
they made his arms so hairy. He had gorilla arms, man. Uh, yeah, that killed me when she first sees him and it zooms in on his arms and they're
Can you imagine like acting that out? Because they have Alice like rubbing her hands through his arm hair.
yeah.
I would be dying.
Yeah, I'd have trouble keeping a straight face for sure.
But that's actually, I mean, that's a dream of mine to just,
Have some super hairy arms.
yeah, and have my girl just caress me all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sick, dude. Do you have any body hair at all? You get a little
No,
bit on your chin, right?
no, I'm a furless being.
Hairless. I'm pretty
No,
hairy, but
no,
it's
I've got some hair,
yeah. Oh
a little
yeah.
bit.
Okay, you got a little bit. Give you like 10 years and maybe you could act out that or have it come to life, I guess. I don't know if you can see mine or not. Not really. It's kind of like sun bleached just because I've golfed so much. Like I think
Yeah,
I have pretty hairy arms, but it's pretty light. I have a pretty hairy chest.
yeah.
Maybe I'm hairy chest. Whatever. Oh, that was before we wrap up. That was one of the other things I wanted to bring up was I don't know what time period this was supposed to be. I'm guessing like 2005 or something like that. When was AOL popular?
Yeah, so I was curious as well, and
Hmm.
I actually picked up on a very, very small detail
Yeah, what's that?
when Alice was with the biker. Like the biker mentioned, uh, she was giving this piece of advice where it's like, never believe like someone saying they need your AOL password or something like that,
Oh, right.
or you'll get the Marissa virus,
Ah,
which which dated it to 1999. So
oh, really?
it's probably around then or maybe a little after.
Okay.
So yeah, probably like early 2000s.
Yeah, I was gonna because I picked up on a small detail as well, which was an even smaller detail. Uh, they're in church and they're saying, I think it's like the Nicene Creed or the Apostles' Creed, which is everybody in church professes the same beliefs basically. In this, it's written out for you though, and they, I don't know how often they do this, but they'll like reinterpret the writings because they're obviously not in English. So some things could kind of mean something different depending on how you look at it because it's not just straight word for word translation. So when they're saying the whichever creed it is, the words were like a little bit different. And I was like, okay, so this must have been before the reinterpretation in like 2011 or 2012 or whatever it was. So that was my first hint to like, well, that might have been after it showed her using AOL, but it's like, okay, yeah, that was a good detail that they included, was that the words were different back then. I thought that was clever.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive that they did that.
Yeah.
I did notice one minor flaw,
What's that?
however. So when they're in their small groups talking about um, like the stories that where they felt like they haven't been close to God, and Alice makes up this story about her dog dying.
Mm-hmm.
Right before that, the one girl talks about how her grandmother died, and just gets super emotional. Um,
Yeah.
when Alice finishes her story, it cuts to the previous girl like crying with the cross in her hand.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm not sure if that scene was supposed to be before Alice talks about her dog dying.
I think Alice's story just like made her break.
Yeah, but when Alice told her story, she had the cross in her hand.
They all had one.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were like passing it around like it was a talking stick.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, because I realized that two of them were both holding crosses
Oh,
at
okay.
one point. It was the guy, the guy whose sad story is that his girlfriend broke up with him. That was that was when I noticed that he had a cross, and but then Alice I think was also holding a cross. I was like, okay, they each have one.
I would have liked to hear Chris's sad story because I don't think
Hmm.
we get it in the movie.
No, we don't. One of the dude, obviously I keep bringing this up because they nailed a lot of things. But after Nina tells her sad story about how her parents like don't pay attention to her, and like all the other group leaders like go up there and hug her and comfort her, like it was almost like I was reliving my retreats because that's how it'd be. Like one of us group leaders would go up there and tell our sad story, and then like the other group leaders would come up and be like, "It's okay, we got your back."
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes was when they're at the retreat and they're singing Phil Collins in a circle, and they are,
Is that the song that the priest says he really likes?
yeah,
Okay.
it's in your eyes,
Right. Hmm.
and Chris slyly maneuvers his hand down Alice's back,
Hmm.
which
Do you
I
think that was
mean,
intentional?
I think so,
Okay.
and which doesn't make sense if we look at Chris's actions afterwards, but I like to think that was intentional.
Hmm.
Maybe Chris is just a mastermind, like just plays with every girl's emotions.
Yeah, I have a feeling that that's not the case, just based on the fact that he got so scared when she started kissing him. But
Maybe that's a part of the plan.
yeah, that could be. You want what you can't have, right? So when he runs away like that, it just makes her pursue him even more. But then he also tries to run away from her in the hall and just asks for a side hug.
Yeah, the dude looked terrified to see her in the hallways.
Yeah.
As
That actor did a great job. I thought Chris was a great character.
yeah, I think all the actors were pretty good. They're
Yeah.
all from like other Netflix shows or movies.
The only one that I recognized was the girl from Stranger Things.
Okay, yeah,
What's her name?
Natalia Dyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her and her friend in the movie are both from Stranger Things.
Oh, who does her friend
She's
play in
uh,
Stranger Things?
she's one
She
of the
like one of the
lifeguards.
lifeguards? Ah,
Yeah,
I thought she looked familiar. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they nailed it for sure.
Also, when I was looking at the cast, the dude that plays the father
Hmm.
is apparently a professional golfer.
No way.
Yeah.
You're kidding me. I gotta check this out.
I mean, he's probably not on tour, but
Uh-huh.
like maybe I was confused because there was another golfer with the same name, but I swear to
That could
God, when
be.
I was looking this up.
I don't see anything about golf.
All right. Yep, I messed up. Sorry for the viewers at home. I mean, we all have those days, right?
Maybe he jokingly put it in his Twitter bio
Oh, maybe.
because it says actor, professional golfer. Doesn't like
That's
cocaine, but
that's
likes songs about cocaine.
that's exactly what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was probably a joke. I was gonna say, I was like, how did a professional golfer make it in the acting business?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, it's gonna be like, I mean, when you make it in the industry, it's gonna be like, well, how did a mechanical engineer, you know, pivot his career like that? Well, and then the answer is gonna be, I mean, just look at him.
No, what people are gonna think is how did these two mechanical engineers become such uh famous podcasters? I kind of I'm kind of tempted to like try to make some like educational YouTube videos just with like what I've learned. For example, I had an idea of like I feel like not a lot of people know what E equals MC squared means, but you hear that all the time. Like even when you're a kid, like you know Einstein's famous equation. So maybe YouTube videos already exist, but I think it'd be cool to make a channel where I like I don't know talk about topics like that in terms that make it really easy for the everyday person to understand.
Yeah. No, that'd be really cool.
It'd
You
be a
should
big
do that.
commitment though.
Yeah. Probably be a lot of editing too.
Bro, you know who goes huge on YouTube is like robotics people though.
Yeah. There's this channel that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. It's called, I think, Stuff Made Here. And this dude
That
is
is
like,
you literally read my mind. That's insane. Did you
yeah,
see his video of the basketball hoop that you can't miss on?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's a
Wild.
genius, like, and he's
He's fucking
obviously
smart.
really good with hands-on projects. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
just started, I think,
Insane.
9 months ago or something like
You're
that, and
kidding.
he's got I swear he's got over 1 million
He's got
subscribers
over a
already.
million subs, but his videos get like more views than he has
Yeah,
subscribers because I think the algorithm picked it up and fed it to people.
yeah.
Yeah. I watched that one. I watched his like pumpkin carving video. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
No, I haven't seen that one.
He's insane though. That guy is on another level. Or like Michael Reeves. Do you know who Michael Reeves is?
I don't think so.
He's like a robotics comedy YouTuber. So he'll make like he made a what was it called? Like Bully Me Elmo or something like that. And he made an Elmo doll that would like um read your face and it had some algorithm where it would guess what race you are and then insult you based on that. So like he's like Filipino or something like that. He had it like make like scan his face and make fun of him in some way, or
That's so funny.
it had maybe it's just racist Elmo or something like that. He made a Roomba that like would scream whenever it bumped into the wall. So he does all kinds of like crazy projects like that. He's this like robotics computer engineering mastermind. So yeah, that's the way to break in on YouTube.
Honestly, yeah,
You have to have a lot of resources though. That
yeah,
stuff made here guy has some crazy resources.
yeah. He's got some like $1,000, way more than like 20, $30,000 equipment.
Yeah, that shop he has it like assuming that's just at his house, like
Yeah,
He's got some expensive equipment. Hey, in my room right now though, I've got like a decent amount of expensive equipment. That right there is the HoloLens 2, which is worth like $3,000 or $4,000. So that's what I
What
gotta
is
do. I gotta make like AR videos.
yeah, honestly. What is it sitting on? It almost looks like an oscilloscope,
Oh,
but it's not,
no,
probably.
that's my dad's old stereo.
Okay,
I just thought it
nice.
looked really cool. And
Yeah.
I don't have speakers in here right now, so I have like a little Bluetooth thing that connects to an aux cable. I just have it plugged into the back of that so that I can play music through there.
Nice.
Thought it kind of added to the aesthetic of the room a little bit. And for
Yeah, I
viewers
don't
at home, there's a signed 49ers football as well.
yeah, I've got some pretty killer equipment in my room too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got this
AirPods.
this picture.
That's a dope picture.
I've got my bed.
You have some beige walls,
Yep.
but you
Hand
don't work from
painted.
home, right?
It's a mix.
Okay.
Yeah. I do have a 3D printer, but
At home?
yeah.
No shit. That's awesome.
Yep.
There you go. So we'll make a YouTube channel where we like 3D print crazy stuff and I don't know, teach people to make augmented reality apps or something.
Yeah. When are you gonna come out to Arizona again?
I don't know. Like with the corona situation, it's weird because
Yeah.
like New Mexico's so strict with like, oh, if you left, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks when you get back. And I don't know how open stuff is there. Are you still like no masks required? Like you can go out to bars and all that shit.
Uh, so pretty much everything is opened. It's
Okay.
just you have to wear a mask.
Yeah. Okay. That's not that bad though.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's your rating for this movie on both of our scales?
Oh, on both of okay, on both of the scales.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean on our lifetime scale it would have to be a 9.2. And then on a regular scale, I'd say like a 7.5.
Damn.
Yeah,
That was the
it's
same
solid.
score I was going to give it.
Okay, nice.
I wasn't going to go quite as specific. I was just going to say a 9 on the lifetime God scale. But on a regular scale, I was going to give it a 7.5. It's pretty
Okay,
funny. Nailed a
yeah.
lot of like the like Catholic school Catholicism tropes, and I liked that it poked fun at something that I know really well.
Hmm.
I didn't get offended. Uh, I think it was pretty well done overall. I think it was a good movie.
Yeah, agreed. Um, we got to think of, another movie though.
We can just
And
do the roommate next, right?
okay, yeah, that works.
Did you already watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so
There's
I'll have to watch that now.
there was a scene where the main character goes on a run, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, but she goes on a run and she's listening to an Empire of the Sun song,
Uh huh.
and it just transported me back to 2012.
Oh my god.
Like
Oh
it was great.
What's their big? They had a
Walking on a Dream.
okay.
That's the big one.
That was their big one.
That wasn't a song that they played. The song they played was better.
Three
Called
hundred
We.
64 million, bro. We
That's how
are the
many listens
people.
they get. Yeah.
Yeah, 364 million on Walking on a Dream. 5
Damn.
million monthly listeners.
That's solid. Especially, I don't even think they're together anymore.
I'd be surprised. They put out an album in 2016.
Yeah, I think two of the members left and started another like Australian EDM group.
Oh, really? Okay.
P Now, I think is how you say it.
Gotcha.
P Now.
Yeah. Is that their like gang sign?
No, that was just something I've made up.
Damn, dude, we should have made our podcast name something with a P so that we could have thrown that up at the end of each episode. PP. All right, you want to send us off so I can cut the recording here?
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what you want to see for the next episode. We're always taking into consideration your comments. And just so you guys are aware, I did invest in this podcast. I really do think that we have great potential to skyrocket. I bought a mic, so really invested, and that's what we're all about. And lifetime gang day.
Peace.
Peace.